Hi y'all, it is the Southern Belle from Hell here, and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new here, hi, I hope you stick around and watch the full video. And if you like what you see, please remember to like and subscribe. I upload 3 to 4 times a week, and today what I have for you guys, since it is coming up into the fall season, I'm all about the cottage core vibes right now. And before I get into like spooky builds, I just want to live in this cottage world, okay? And I am starting a new save file where I want to go in and redo all of the houses that are already there. Sometimes I bulldoze the lot, or sometimes I keep the house like the bones and just like basically redecorate. But for Cordelia's secret cottage in Hemford-on-Bagley, I decided to just bulldoze the whole lot and create my own cottage. And I say it's my own cottage. It is like a painting that I found on Pinterest. And I couldn't find the exact swatches, without custom content. But I try not to make things like that have a whole lot of custom content. So this build has none. I improvised and I went as closely to the picture as I could because it looks so beautiful and so cute, and like you just want to curl up and read a book and listen to birds. So if you want to check out the picture that I'm basing this off of, I've linked the description. I've linked the picture in the description below. So we have like our typical cottage, and I wanted to really make this like a loft. Like maybe this building used to be an old barn, and there's a little loft area that has now been like turned into a bedroom. And I really fell in love with that idea. So you'll see me working on that. I decided to put a little greenhouse in the back and, just kind of have it look like really organic and really traditional. I decided instead of doing like a dome roof, because to me that looks like a bit more of a modern greenhouse, I decided to just basically paint the roof the grass swatch that we have and cover it with like overgrown plants and stuff like that with this lattice work. And using the Greenhouse Haven kit, I'm just like using the windows because it has that mesh on it that looks like a screened in window, and it just kind of fit the vibe I was going for. I do a lot of stuff to the outside. I decided I wanted to stick to the picture, and in the picture we have like a little pond that has 2 swans swimming together. It looks like there's a little garden gate opening into the backyard. And the backyard, like, there's no picture of the backyard. I really wanted to put a chicken coop back there, but I felt like that would be too much going on. So I end up just making like a relaxing little spot, with some trees here and there. This is a pretty tiny build. It's pretty open because again, I'm having like this like used to be a barn or stable thing in my mind. But I wanted to put a little cellar in here because I'm thinking the new inhabitant, or Cordelia herself, just whatever your gameplay consists of, she likes to garden and make her own wine. So I'm using a lot of stuff from Horse Ranch, as well as Get Together, and Cats and Dogs. I don't know why, but I picture like a cat living with her owner here, and just like this really cozy environment where our sim and the cat, like they just chill in their squishy little chair, and they read, and they have the fire going. And yeah, I'm all about this vibe right now. But I made this little pond, like it's super tiny, but it's tiny in the picture as well, because I didn't want to like overtake it too much, you know what I mean? But I do make it a fishing spot. So if you download this from the gallery, my ID is listed below as well. You know, your Sims can fish in it and it'll be no problem. I did play test this, so everything is functional, everything's good to go. So I decided to kind of make this area a little muddy, because if you notice the terrain in Hemford on Bagley, you know, we have like this deep grass, and the dirt that is surrounding it looks really dark, like really, really muddy. So I decided to put this darker swatch down before I put the cobblestone terrain paint, just because it felt more realistic to me, like more realistic looking, because the rest of Hemford on Bagley, like we've got that, you know, like muddy dirt, I guess I should say. So if you've watched my builds before, what I like to do before I start landscaping is just kind of get everything out that I know I'm probably going to use. Sometimes I take it away, sometimes I don't. And I just kind of get it all out there before I start like organizing and putting stuff together. So I pull out a bunch of plants, and I knew I wanted pink, white, yellow, and just kind of like this natural feel with these wildflowers that are growing around the little pond area. Because again, like going off this picture, there's a bunch of colorful little plants just scattered here, there, and yonder. And we've got a lot of them all around this pond. And to me, the wildflowers out of all of the landscaping tools, that looks the most natural, and it's supposed to look natural. But like these other plants that are more round in shape, they look like they're, you know, intentionally planted. So I just kind of scatter them with the wildflowers so that it doesn't look as intentional. I could be crazy, which is a high likelihood. But I also use like the grass that comes with this pack to make the area around it look a little bit more overgrown, so that these round plants don't look as out of place, I guess. And hopefully that works out. I still think it looks beautiful. And I wanted to have little vines, because in the picture we've got a few vines here and there, but since it's a painting, you know, it's kind of like hard to tell. So I use the vines from the Cottage Living pack, but I also use the vines from Journey to Batu. The Journey to Batu pack has beautiful vines, like realistic vines that just looks like it goes so well together with the Cottage Living pack. Who would have thunk it, right? Journey to Batu, Star Wars, and Cottage Living sharing a lot in common, at least on the landscaping side. Just beautiful stuff. So like this ivy that I'm putting up right now, that's from Journey to Batu. It looks gorgeous. And I decide just to add some white flowers, because I realized I didn't really put any white flowers down. I decided to use these white flowers in the flower boxes underneath the windows. Just because I feel like it gives it a pop of something different, and I didn't really want the flower boxes to just look like a replica of the rest of the plants that are going on outside. But I knew I really wanted this cottage to look really like overgrown and really old, because to me, like, a cottage shouldn't look brand new. You know, it shouldn't look like a modern build, and that's not really the vibe I was going for. But I love these windows. It was so hard for me to pick between the windows of Cottage Living or Horse Ranch, but to me the Horse Ranch one just seemed to fit in a little bit better with the woodwork. But I do use the windows from Cottage Living around the fireplace, just because I like the way the circular shaped top looks next to this, you know, little fireplace. So decorating around this, you know, little corner where we have the greenhouse and we have this entrance to the backyard, like, I don't want to keep it really manicured. I just kind of want it to look super organic, but that this Sam, I stretched out that I, didn't I? Okay, that this Sam really, you know, loves her flowers, takes, you know, a lot of good care of it and, you know, just make sure her place stays its beautiful, whimsical self. So I'm kind of like lifting some plants around, you know, making them larger, making them smaller, so we have like some differentiation going on. For the top of the greenhouse, I didn't want it to be an exact replica. I kind of wanted it to just look like overgrown greenery. You know, I didn't want it to look like someone actually got up there and planted all this stuff. So I just used some greenery that I had already used that is around that broken stone fence that I have, you know, at the entrance of the house. And I love using these shrubs. I use these overgrown shrubs from Base Game all the time in my builds just because they look overgrown and you can add to them, make them bigger, make them smaller, and it looks realistic. And plus, they have different shades of green swatches. And to me, this shade of green was something different because the rest of it around the house is, you know, like a dark shade of green. And when I think of like an English countryside in an old house, I'm thinking of all shades of green. You know, they've got these plants. It's really whimsical. There's, you know, just so much growth happening. There's moss here and there. There's ivy. So that's what I'm picturing. That's what I'm going for. So this is the greenery that I'm using, and it just, you know, kind of makes this area look a little bit overgrown, but not intentionally overgrown. Like it just kind of happened and they said, oh, you know what, it's okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm making this pond look a bit more realistic. So I add this log and I tilt it with the tool mod to, you know, instead of it just sitting there, like it looks like a log that's fallen into the pond. I add the mossy water, so, you know, that it looks more authentic. You get what I'm saying. You get what I mean. So I'm kind of doing like a custom fireplace because to me, the certain look I was going for didn't call for a pipe. You know, like we have this potbelly stove, kind of like a potbelly stove, just like a wood burning fireplace look. And we've got these pipes connected to it. And I don't really care for that because it looks like a regular fireplace on the outside. To me, everything else looked good about it, but I was like, I really want to put brick or something, but I don't want to build a full wall because then that would be too much brick and it wouldn't look right. So I just used a brick fence post from the debug menu and sized it down and rose it up and kind of just fitted it above the fireplace so that it looks like, you know, a fireplace that has its own little, you know, brick chimney chute. I can't talk today, guys. I was working today and now my brain is like, no, we're not going to compute words to your mouth. But I'm doing my best. So in my mind, this loft bedroom has beams. And when I think of like a renovated house that used to be a stable or a barn, it has, you know, beams showing. So to me, this only felt natural to add. I used the beams from Cottage Living. It was really hard to choose between these beams and the ones we got from the Love Struck pack, but these have, you know, the wood etching that kind of just fits in with the whole cottage core vibe. And I said, you know what, we're gonna keep that. The ones from Love Struck are so much easier to place though. Like it automatically wants to go up on the ceiling, and these, you know, you have to raise or they won't sit on the ceiling. So yeah, that took some time messing with. I decided to use the Country Kitchen Kit counters instead of the Cottage Living counters because the Cottage Living counters, it's a light green, and to me it did not go as well with this wall covering I chose from Cottage Living. To me, the country kitchen swatch of green looked a lot better. I kind of pictured this kitchen to look old-timey, kind of like cute grandma making the best cookies in the world type of look. And I hardly ever use this wallpaper, you know, with the mushrooms and the little bunnies, and, you know, like I hardly ever use it. And I kind of like had to force myself to use it. I said, no, I'm going to use this because I am going for cute cottage vibes. And I just made it work. I just made it work. Because really, when I look at this, I think of like a little kid's room, you know, like a cute little family out in the country. I don't necessarily think of, you know, this swatch being out in someone's kitchen or someone's living room. But I did it. I took a chance. I took a risk. And yeah, you can change it if you don't like it. But I like the rest of the green and how like it goes together and has this old feel, this kind of very vintage antique-y style. But I tried to like match the blues with different, you know, clutter items. So we've got, you know, the canisters, the cookie jars, we've got the little bunny and everything. And of course, while I'm looking for the clutter, I find other stuff. So I decided to kind of decorate the front yard with, you know, little clutter items, little gnomes, and that little bike that has no functionality at all. But it's okay. It technically doesn't need to be functional. So I didn't want to clutter up this kitchen too much, because at least for my gameplay, when I'm doing like a cottage living gameplay, I really have my Sims doing a bunch of stuff. Oh, I decided to put a little plaque on the outside of this house. Like, okay, this is an old historical house. It's going to have a plaque. If this is, you know, Princess Cordelia's old cottage, wouldn't it have a plaque? Huh? Yeah, so that's why I put that out there. So I really wanted just everything to be functional. I wanted you to have like 3 or 4 counters that, you know, your Sim could cook off of, and, you know, not a kitchen that's just going to be full of clutter. So it looks like a lot, but I put some of these clutter items, you know, on the exposed shelves and things like that. And what I decided to do with this piece of cookery with these pots and these pans is I sized them down, and I decided to manipulate it with the tool mod so that it looks like it's screwed in to the fireplace, and it's just, you know, hanging off of this brick exposure right here. And to me, that just looked, you know, a little bit more homey and kind of made it look like that brick is supposed to be there, opposed to, you know, it's just an item from the menu that, you know, I'm trying to force to look like a fireplace. Because I wanted the fireplace to look like it serves a purpose with the wood burning stove. So like it keeps the house warm, but also like if you're cooking on the stove, but you also need another area to heat up your kettle or whatnot, you have that wood burning stove right next to you. I mean, I know in the game you don't need it for that, but I kind of like the idea of having these pieces that kind of bring this time period of, you know, the English countryside, maybe well, I wouldn't say medieval. This doesn't look quite that old, but you know what I mean, like a time before so much technology. But I really loved this kitchen because it's so small and unconventional, but yet we have a lot of room for cooking and a lot of space to store your little things. I did put a mixer in there, and I know that's, you know, a little bit more on the technological side, but I'm picturing this Sim as, you know, a master cook that, you know, maybe she's a young Sim, but she's got, you know, the cooking skill down. She's got her gardening skill down. She is like Susie Homemaker, and she is beginning her life here in Hemford-on-Bagley in Cordelia's secret cottage. Maybe she inherited it, or maybe, you know, she's heard about it and she goes, you know what, that would be a perfect little place for me to start my life in Hemford-on-Bagley. I decided to make a little nook for a cat. I've watched so many videos of people do it, and I was like, that can't be functional. That can't be functional. So I tested it, and it functions. It's weird because sometimes I've put washer and dryers in that little area, just like how I made it, and they're not functional. So maybe I'm doing something wrong, but the cat can use it just fine. It's working. Sim logic. I have no idea. So I decided to put a bookshelf and this little console table that has laundry stuff on it. I was kind of on the fence about, like, do I want to put laundry stuff in here? But I really like the idea of this sim hanging up their clothes in the back and, you know, washing their clothes using that washing tub. So I said, you know what, I think I am going to go this route and kind of give it more of a homey, you know, doing things without technology type of feel. And this little, you know, console table, this hallway table, whatever you want to call it, it's got all of those little knickknacks already on it. So I said, you know what, that's less work for me. I made this little, you know, dining room area. Everything is pretty open here. There's not a whole lot of separation because it's, you know, it's a small cottage. But I had this idea that, you know, when she cooks or, you know, makes some wine, that she invites people from Hemford-on-Bagley to entertain them and, you know, get their ideas on what she could do better, what she can improve on, maybe try to get old recipes from, you know, the other Hemford-on-Bagley residents. So I decided to make like a little entertainment center, and, you know, like those old school entertainment centers way before flat screens where that little opening was just big enough for a tiny TV. That's what I had going on in my mind. And the cabinets from Horse Ranch, they had like this perfect wood, at least to me. Like I like the texture look of it, and it just looks like this old wood, and to me it feels like it fit in so well with the wood plank floor I had down, and, you know, just kind of gave this hint of realism to, you know, this area that I'm trying to make look really cute, but also, you know, something you can actually picture someone living in, if they, you know, have an old cottage, if they're privileged enough. Because I would kill to live in one. Well, I wouldn't kill, okay, but I would love to live in somebody's old cottage. Anybody's. Doesn't matter who. Well, unless, you know, they were a psycho or something. Anyways, off topic here. So I decided to give her a cute little pink bathroom. I absolutely love the vintage looking or cottage core pink decor. And, like, even though I have a lot of pink going on my channel, I don't have a lot of pink stuff. For some reason, only like my Sims stuff is pink and I like it. But when it comes to like house decor, I don't have a lot of pink stuff. But this type of stuff in The Sims, it's adorable. I love the pink decor in The Sims. It is so cute. So for her loft bedroom, I wanted to make it very cozy, very relaxing. I had this idea in my head of, you know, these little twinkle lights coming down, and I wanted to put twinkle lights, you know, where the fence area, I don't know what you call it, but here, right here, where the fence is that kind of separates the loft from that opening, going down into the first floor. And I just thought that would look really neat and add a little something extra rather than just, you know, a small opening and then bam, there's the second floor. I decided to hang this little towel from Spa Day. So, you know, like maybe she is towel drying her hair and she walks through and she just throws that towel over the side, you know, like out of sight, out of mind. Since this is kind of a cramped space, I decided to put this old looking dresser here. I wanted to put a fireplace up here. I wanted to so bad, but I was like, I don't want to change out the layout. So I decided to put a furnace up here instead. And I think it still ended up really cute and giving, you know, that coziness that I really wanted in there. And of course, I love the mirror from Realm of Magic. It is so cute. And I don't know why, but I found these clocks. And of course, the clock from Cottage Living, I said, okay, I'm going to put that downstairs. But that little clock that has like, you know, like a chicken frill on the top, I went, you know what? I hardly ever put clocks in my builds. This is cute. This is neat. I decided to put this little shelf here, you know, look like we have little knickknacks and stuff like that. But yeah, like this bedroom I just pictured as our Sims safe place. I wanted to put like maybe an easel or something up here, but I didn't want to clutter it up too much, you know. So like if you download it from the gallery, I would love to see what you guys do with it. I definitely have decorated it a lot. So before we move on like to the greenhouse area, I decided to use these little craft wallflowers and put it on the beams so that it's like an extra bit of decor and you have something hanging off the beams that's really pretty. I don't know why. I just thought it was a really cool idea, and I can't remember what picture I've seen, but it was someone's bedroom that had exposed beams. I know I've seen it on Pinterest, but I don't think I saved it. And they had these little paper flowers hanging down, and I thought that was so cute. So I tried to, I guess, replicate that a little bit. And I don't know, to me this really just turned out to be a really cute bedroom. And we're gonna move on to the little greenhouse area. It's a small area, but you know, it's enough to grow the essentials. I put some decor down. I put a little you know, flower arranging station. You know, maybe she wants to be a florist, maybe she is a florist. And I decide to put these little flower boxes up, as well as the decor flower boxes. I put a little, you know, beehive out there, and I built a little cellar underneath where she can practice, you know, her nectar crafting and all that stuff. And I also put the wash tub down there. I really hate when I have the wash tub and it's outside and then it's raining and my Sims get struck by lightning. But if you have it like inside, it's gonna get water everywhere. I mean, it's gonna get water there as well, but you know, it's a cellar. So it's not that big of a deal, at least to me, you know, because even like the flooring swatch is dirt. So, you know, that's where my mind was going. If you want to move it, if you download it, of course, by all means. So I add a few finishing touches to the outside. I wanted to add a chicken coop, but like I said, I didn't want to put in too much, you know, have a lot going on. So I just put a picnic basket, a blanket, and, you know, some little critter trees. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and get ready for the screenshots. Until next time, have a good one.